This is why I'll beat you all in a listing if you don't do this. And I've listed a lot of properties. I will whoop your butt with this thing. I'll tell you that right now. If you go in and then I come in after you, this thing is done. You lose. I don't care how much you sell. Okay? Because I'm going to come in and say this. A low inventory market lends itself to lead generating a lot. But if you get lead inventory that's too low and houses are going too fast, it's actually hard to lead generate in a lot of ways, especially when it comes to generating business off listings. Okay? Because generating business off listings is one of the easiest way to generate business from people you don't know. You'll always hear me talk about the best way to generate business is through your sphere of influence. Okay, which it is. I mean, the strongest businesses are built from people you know, from cultivating that client database. But I mean, it's also good to get business other ways too. A lot of you are still building your SOI database. A lot of people are new to an area and still putting it together, or you're newly licensed and you haven't like saturated your SOI. They haven't got trust in you yet. They don't know that you're successful enough of an agent to list their house yet. They don't get it. So you haven't had enough time in. Or you are a successful agent and you want to generate more business. Or maybe you're a team leader of a team and you want your agents to generate business more. Well, the best way to do that is off your existing listings. And the best and most successful way to do that, even though it's boring and not sexy, is through open houses. They're easy, they're cheap, and guess what? That's the best way to get a bunch of buyers and get more listings. What are you going to do? Like have a buyer orientation night, like a home buyer seminar? I hate those things more than anything. What are you going to do? Like flyer the apartment complex for buyers? It's nuts. You don't lead generate for buyers. You lead generate from listings. And then they have to buy a house because they sell their listing. That's how you get a buyer. You always lead generate for listings. You do not lead generate for buyers. Here's why. Lead generating for buyers is like trying to catch a bumblebee. You don't catch a bumblebee by chasing down an individual bee. You will look like an idiot. You will run around all over town at the lowest conversion rate in real estate, and you'll never probably even catch a bee. But if you do catch a bee, you're going to be exhausted. You're going to waste all your time catching that one bee. You will get stung. There's my pun for you. If you really want to catch a bee, go get the hive or get a flower, and they will come to you. That's what a listing is. It makes them just come to you in much greater numbers that create a higher conversion rate. Not to mention, it brings you more listings because the neighbors see you working, and you'll steal people that should be in other agents' spheres of influence that most agents just don't get around to ever putting together, and they certainly don't get around to marketing systematically in a CRM with action plans and a database to stay first of mind all the time. So you will absolutely steal other people's SOI database members that want to list in and around your open house because the looky-loo neighbors come by, because looky-loo neighbors are always the ones thinking about selling. And what's the first thing they do is they go check out their competition. What do the other homes look like in their neighborhood for sale? So they walk through them to see, they look at the price and they say, here's how this house presents. And then they think, well, my house looks better than this, or my house doesn't look as good as this, or maybe we need to fix up our house to look like this. Those are people that are coming soon listings. They love to check them out. So looky-loo neighbors are a super powerful way to generate listings at an open house. And not to mention, it shows you're working. You're the one agent holding open houses. All the lazy agents say they don't work. Those are morons. Don't listen to them. They do work. That's why you've seen them for 100 years, and then you still see all the top agents and top teams doing it. Trust me, they freaking work. If they're not working for you, you don't know how to work them. Success leaves clues, up to you to pick them up. Up to you to pick them up. Now, there was an argument that they were hard to hold open houses because by the time you got a new listing, it would be gone in 10 seconds. Well, I don't agree with that argument. I think you keep holding them after they go under contract, and because you need backup offers, and it keeps the screws to the transaction so that when they do send you a repair request, they know that they held 2 open houses and they got backup offers, and it keeps your sellers in a strong negotiating position. That's why we always hold them, and we always hold them after offer and acceptance, always. And it gives you more opportunity to lead generate. Gives you something to attract more bees to your flower. It gives the agents on your team a way to work your listings harder. Open houses are powerful But if you're the agent that just says, well, open houses don't work for me, I don't like them because no one shows up at mine. All right. That means you just kind of said, I'm going to hold an open house this weekend. You didn't market to the neighborhood. You didn't get the numbers to contact for the neighborhood. You didn't go to RedX Geo Leads or, pay like $100 a month or, go to Land Voice or Coal Information. Any of the millions of places that we all should know by now can give you neighborhood data for next to cheap, give you email addresses, mobile phone numbers, and you can market your open house to all the neighbors, because we want the listings, to get them to show up at your neighbors only open house for Woodview Estates or whatever. It's not really going to be neighbors only, but we market it to the neighbors that way. So the neighbors come by because those are your listings. If this is new to you a lot, I'm happy, but man, this is the reason open houses work. This is the secret of the top agents. This is how they keep their agents lead generate. Gets them out in front and gets them active. If you want to know why all the top teams take all the business, because they do this stuff. They have admin support. They have teams to do the marketing for this for you. You can retarget, and then you can take all those email addresses that you got from those data sources. We can actually put them into Facebook and retarget Facebook ads back at them. Okay. So to get those numbers, I'll say them again: Coal Information, RedX Geo Leads, and Land Voice. Any of those, they're all about the same price. They all about the same quality of information. They all have geographic numbers. They'll have about 50% of a neighborhood, so don't get all mad. I mean, you're spoiled. You got 50% of people's email addresses. I didn't get any of that. I had a freaking phone book, so have fun with that. You get 50% of emails, you might get 60% of their mobile phone numbers. Do your best. It's something. Invite them all. You can pass out flyers if you don't want to get calluses on your typing hands. You could, put on some sneakers and pass out some flyers if you want. You can mail, cost some money. Got to plan the open house out a little bit in advance to have mailers get there on time. But you could say neighbors only open house and a mailer. That costs you money. You can retarget. Okay, so you can take those email addresses. You can import them up into Facebook, and you can retarget Facebook ads back at your own database. That's why they call it Facebook retargeting. Is you provide your own database to Facebook, which is your email addresses for the people who live in that neighborhood. And then Facebook actually retargets advertisements for your open house back at your own database. That's why they call it retargeting, because it's actually, you give Facebook the database. You don't target Facebook ads at a demographic. You have to do that from your business page. It's one of the only reasons to have a business page. Make sense? So you can blow up, an open house to get attendance. You're not getting attendance because you're not doing these things, right? You're not, we can email everybody in that neighborhood. We could flyer everybody in that neighborhood. We can mail everybody in that neighborhood. And in addition to, not in lieu of, we can retarget Facebook ads at them. By the end of all that, man, people are going to be showing up at your freaking open house. And guess what? They're also going to say, wow, no one works harder than that Brian Icenhower to get a listing sold for the highest price. That guy's really pushing it. I see this thing everywhere. Of course, put up some signs, put those signs up a couple days early and put on there like Saturday from 11 to 3. So for 3 days leading up to your open house, everybody sees, man, they see that sign again. There he is. There's Brian Icenhower. That guy works it. Are you sure you want to list with your cousin that just got her license 4 years ago? She doesn't do all this. See how I'm showing the neighbors how hard I work to sell a home? I'm lead generating off my listings. Getting a little extra inventory and getting, having it take a few days for a house to sell makes this a little easier. Make sense? That's your machine. The more listings you get, man, you don't want to sell. There's nothing worse than me. I used to run real estate offices, and grow them and that kind of thing. And when I was in them, man, there's nothing worse than walking through that office and having some agent goes, man, I got a house. I put it up for sale and sold it in 24 hours. High five me, bro. I just want to freaking knock him in the face, man. I just like, yeah, bro. Great. You just lost all your opportunity. Did you hold an open house? No. Great. You just got one sale. Way to freaking go, bro. You didn't use it as an opportunity to get any more listings. Your opportunity's gone. You're small-minded. You're thinking too small. A top producer thinks, how am I going to sell 100 homes, 200 homes, 500 homes? They're thinking, how can I get 1 or 2 listings off every listing and a buyer off every listing? They need to multiply. exponentially. So if I sell a house and that sign comes down, you missed it. Make sense? That's how you miss it. So that's the push. Okay. So moving on, when we're pushing this open house, I do want to say if you price anything down around the median home price, if you get a listing around the median home price, there is a chance, depending on where you live and where your market is, when you get listings that are close to the median home prices, you still get a lot more multiple offer situations and home selling quickly. Okay. Or at least the chance for multiple offer situations, because affordability is still very, very difficult in America. And, it's just, you get down to those price ranges around the median home price. Now you're battling investors, you're battling institutional buyers, house flippers, all of those big, big holding companies that are looking to try to acquire more residential real estate. So it's a little more competitive down in that price range. And the last thing you want to do is have that house sell and say, I couldn't have an open house, because that's a terrible excuse. I don't care if your house sells in one day. I want 2 open houses for every listing, regardless of how fast it sells. Okay. That at Icenhower Coaching and Consulting, I think you all know, we coach many of the highest producing teams and agents across North America. And that is a system that we instill in all of our clients. It is 2 open houses per listing, no matter what. No matter what. I don't care if that house sells. And here I'm going to tell you how you get it done. And it'll also get you more listings with this mantra and this system. And it starts in the listing appointment, which is often a competitive listing appointment. You go into a listing appointment, hope you get it. Someone else might get it. They may be deciding whether they're going to list with you. They may be interviewing multiple agents. They may have not told you or told you they're going to interview multiple agents. So you want to make sure you win the listing, and this will also help you win the listing. Here's how the conversation looks. This is why I'll beat you all in a listing if you don't do this. And I've listed a lot of properties. I will whoop your butt with this thing. I'll tell you that right now. If you go in and then I come in after you, this thing is done. You lose. I don't care how much you sell. Okay? Because I'm going to come in and say this. Hey, in this market, it's kind of competitive. You've seen what's going on with the shifting in the market and the changes. So that's why we're able to sell the most houses. And the reason we're able to sell the most houses is because no one's going to work harder than us to get your home sold. And we also continue to represent your best interests and maximize your sales proceeds by continuing to negotiate in your behalf throughout the transaction. Here's what that looks like. This might be a little uncomfortable for you, because this will be one of the first times you ever had an agent that actually worked harder than you're willing to work to get you the most money. But I'm going to work so hard, it's going to be uncomfortable for you, but you are going to net way more money than you anticipated. Interested? Yes. Here's what I'm talking about. I'm going to actually hold 2 open houses the very first 2 weekends. And I know open houses aren't fun. You got to get out of the house. You got to kind of make them look nice. A whole bunch of people are going to come through. Don't worry. We'll take care of all that. I just need you out of your house. Now, what's really tough is even if that home sells right away because of how gorgeous it is, and maybe it does sell right away before this first weekend comes. Well, here's the deal. Even if we get 5 offers on Friday night, we're still going to hold that open house Saturday. And even if we put it under contract Monday, we're going to have it the following Saturday after it's under contract. And here's why. The first open house we're going to have no matter what anyway, because what happens is, we start to get offers, and, people are going to be, buyers are going to buy, whether we go under contract the night before or we're going back and forth with counter offers because we have multiple offers on this property. People start to think that house is theirs. Okay. And they're going to actually take, their friends, their family members, buy the house and show it to them. And there's nothing more unnerving than that, than knowing and looking at the house and seeing 20 different people walking through it, all trying to steal their house from them that they don't have under contract. So what does that make them do? That makes them actually come up and accept your counteroffer, not counter it at all. And that is really appealing for a seller to hear in a listing presentation. That seller's like, whoa, there's a strategy I haven't heard before. Most of you are saying that. Like, whoa, that is powerful. That's how we keep working for you. A lot of agents would just shut it down. We got it under contract. I'm going to wait, coast to my commission check. But no, now these guys are going to come up and they're going to accept that offer, right? Or oftentimes, a lot of times, let's say we do put it under contract within a couple days, and And then that Saturday comes around. Buyer's remorse is a real thing. And they might come there and start saying, okay, now we're going to start really, wow, now that we're looking at it again, we got to ask that we got it under contract. Now all my negotiating power is gone as a seller in a hot seller's market. That negotiating power is absolutely gone. And at that point in time, now they can say, hey, we're going to ask for a lot of stuff. We're going to ask for this to be fixed and that to be repaired, because they're not competing against other people. And guess what? The other agent, the buyer's agent's not going to be mad either if you plan this out. And when you do that is when they first start giving you offers. When they first start giving you offers as a listing agent, those buyer's agents will do anything to get their offer accepted. So you say, hey, I just want to let you know, we are going to continue to have open houses. So make this strong. And if we do end up going with yours, know that we're going to have 2 open houses. That's what my sellers ask for, just for backup offers, just in case, because they're going to get moving trucks and they're going to move and they've got money up that they can't lose that's non-refundable on their buy side. So if they have to go back on the market for any reason, they're going to be very upset. So we are going to take backup offers to minimize that likelihood. So know that going in. You can withdraw your offer at any time. So say that up front, like somebody with a system would. They will never get mad at you if you lead with that. But if you surprise them and say, okay, we're all under offer and acceptance, you act like a normal realtor that doesn't plan anything out and has no systems, that just does things off emotion, with paper flying out of the back windows of their cars, they drive down the road with no systems at all. Guess what? You're going to spring it on them on Tuesday and say, oh, by the way, yeah, I can't wait. I'll open escrow tomorrow with the title company. By the way, we're going to have another open house this Saturday. Well, that buyer's agent, if they find out then, you know what's going to happen then. They're going to get upset, even though it's the same thing 5 days later. That's an example of how that negotiating power shifts before you accept their offer and after. That buyer's agent that was such an angel now turns into a little devil. And you know, because you've done it too, you'd feel the same way as a buyer side. So you prep it up front. That's what a good top agent does. Make sense? Then they have to deal with it. Oh yeah, you told me about it. Okay, we're gonna have it. I go, remember, this is just a formality. So long as you perform under the contract and don't get too crazy with your request, we're good. Guess what? I'm telling that all to my seller at the listing presentation. You still think you're gonna beat me? Because guess how many repairs I'm going to freaking get? None. If you ask for one thing after that, I'll be surprised. You won't ask me to fix anything. You will say as is. Why? Because I'm going to tell you, I got all these interested offers coming. Had another open house. Why don't you drive it? I might even tell the buyer's agent to drive by it. Like, tell your buyers to drive by it. In fact, tell your buyer that that's a good time to go look at it. They want to get into measure. Tell them to go during the open house. Tell them to go during the open house. That's the best thing they can do. They will be so freaking jealous in there with all these people walking around their house talking about how they're going to buy it and how they want it. It's going to create a frenzy. They will not ask for one freaking thing. Are you sure you're going to work harder for this listing than I am? Are you sure you're going to get this listing? Because I'm pretty much got it. I don't care how you are. You could be the best agent in the country. I got it. They're going to say, wow, I've actually never heard a real estate agent with a freaking strategy before. This isn't your 8-point plan of how you're going to do photos and shoot video, is it? Every agent does that. I have a strategy because I'm the smart agent. Wow, that guy's actually intelligent. I never knew an agent that was intelligent. That's it. Sorry, guys. You've seen the studies about how smart they think agents are. You can show them you have a plan, a strategy, and you're going to actually, for the first time, because every seller thinks, hey, I've sold lots of houses. I don't need you for anything. Well, guess who's in charge now? I'm in charge. Shut up, sit down, listen to me. Here's how we're going to do it. You accept this offer. You take this deal. You move out at this time. They will listen to me like I'm their doctor because I just evidenced them that I am a professional like a doctor. See what I'm saying? And that's how I work my clients. It really was. I'd sit down and say, do it. And they just did it. Because they knew that I was, matter of fact, and I was sure. I was never, so what do you think? Where do you want to counter? Oh. Can you imagine if a doctor did that? What do you think? Should we give you a shot? What kind of shot you want? I mean, what the hell? Like, that's not a professional. Professional gives you their advice. I'm not going to hold you at gunpoint to take it, but there are certain things that I'm going to do to gain your influence so that you do not question me. Because half the time when they start driving the bus, that's a drunk person behind the wheel. It does not go well. I'm the one that knows where it should go. I'm the professional. I've got the experience here. Make sense? And I establish that through my listing presentation. And oh, by the way, I get the listing. And oh, by the way, what's the reason we're doing this anyway? The reason we're doing this is because we want to have 2 open houses so we can get more listings and get more buyers. I got them. See how customer service is actually in perfect alignment with lead generation. You gonna tell me that open houses don't work now? They work for a lot of things. Make sense? This is a way you don't hurt any relationships with other agents. You tell them you're gonna have another open house up front. You don't hurt a thing. They won't be mad if you tell them before you accept their offer. If that bothers you, then you need to get out of this business because, quite frankly, you got to put your clients ahead of your relationships with other agents. Sorry. You got to advocate on their behalf. That's your fiduciary duty. If you're too worried about people pleasing, this isn't the business for you. I tell you, quit, hang it up, because you're not going to want to do anything for your family. Go get a freaking salary job, because you're not going to want to do any. You'll put your family right under the bus too. You'll say, I can't lead generate because I'm going to offend other agents. That's the one person we don't have a duty to, other than to be honest. That is in the code of ethics for realtors. Yes, I trained that too, but that was a very long time ago. And that is the most boring thing you could train on the planet, just FYI. So the point of the matter is, I want you to put that out front. Let them know. And I want you to lead generate around listings like mad. Okay. Now, a few more open house scripts for you. When the buyers and the sellers do come, here's what we're going to say to the sellers. When the sellers come by, you tell them what your marketing strategy is. Say, great, I'm so happy you came by. Were you confused? Did you know why we marketed this so hard to you as a neighbor? Because they're going to say the same thing they always do. Sellers always say the exact same thing, and you already know what it is. They walk through and say, oh, don't mind us. We're just the lucky blue neighbors. They literally say that about themselves. They say those words. I don't know how they all know that at once, but every neighbor that goes to an open house always calls themselves a lucky blue neighbor. It's weird. It's like, I don't know why they do, but they do. And they're going to say those words. And when you hear looky loo, that means, here comes Brian's script, right? And that's going to be, hey, great. Yeah. Was it weird to hear us marketing to you guys? You guys know why we do that? Well, our goal is to try to keep your property prices high and get the highest proceeds for the sale for your sellers here. So we do that by increasing the exposure. And so we ultimately find the purchaser of a home is a friend, family member, or acquaintance of somebody that already lives in the neighborhood, because you know people, you have friends, family members that know where you live and want to live there, but are waiting for the right house to come up. So we market hard to you, hopefully thinking you're looking with someone else in mind to buy it. Or people tend to want to move up in the same neighborhood because they like the neighborhood, but their house isn't big enough or something like that. They want a bigger backyard, who knows? And so they move up in the same neighborhood because they already know and they want to stay in the same area. So we see a lot of that. So we market very hard around our listings to get that done. And, you know, most agents just put a sign in the yard and pop it in the multiple listing service and, you know, wait for an offer to come. Not us. We have a very good track record of also, you know, representing the buyers on buying a house, just because we actually market our listings publicly. We're one of the few agents that do that. That's powerful. That's powerful. And so I'm actually telling all these people that we know are potential listings that could list down the road that I work harder than everybody else. And once they start to hear there's an agent with a marketing strategy, I didn't know that. I didn't even think of that. Changes things. You know, you could even, you know, if someone's really interested that won't leave, you'll get that. A lot of elderly people. Go into your open house strategy, just like it was the listing presentation I just did. Talk about how you do that too. They just start getting wowed. And you're actually having a conversation about how hard you work to maximize the proceeds of your seller. And you're showing someone, man, I didn't know any of that, because none of them will. And they're gonna be like, wow, I actually learned something from a real estate agent. I didn't get that on HGTV. You know, wow. That's actually a real estate agent that actually has a tactical plan. And say, yeah, I don't believe everything you learn about real estate agents on HGTV. You know, we have plans. This is what works for us, and we've had a lot of success with it. because there are things you can do to sell a house. Powerful, very powerful for FSBOs too. A lot of FSBO sellers will walk by open houses. Very, very powerful to tell them these things. These strategies blow FSBOs away. They're like, really? Oh, look at all, I mean, I actually do something. You wonder like how you sell a FSBO. Tell them you do something. Open houses open the door for all these conversations. Now, lastly, open houses probably generate buyer leads the most. I like listing leads more. You should too. However, buyer leads are great. You get a lot more of them at open houses than pretty much anywhere else. Okay. So when buyer leads come by, because buyer leads are walking around and they'll walk in your open house and I'll say, hey, you looking for a house? That's great. You know, I'll ask them if they're working with another agent. If you want, I don't think you need to ask that question, because working with another agent is kind of like a way of saying, oh, good, he's not going to oversell me. Just because they know an agent doesn't mean they decided to work with them. Doesn't mean they've signed a buyer agency agreement. In fact, less than 1% of the time have they signed an exclusive buyer agency agreement, which means you're both fighting for the same person. You know, everybody knows about 5 or 6 agents, and through your marketing, you're always fighting for that one person. All you agents are trying to fight for that one person. Because just because you have an SOI database of 250 people, don't think some of those people aren't in another agent's database as well too. Well, if they haven't signed any listing agreement or buyer agency agreement, they are up for grabs. We're all fighting to get them. If less than 1% of them that are working with another agent are the ones that walk into an open house, then they're fair grabs. So I don't even ask if they're working with another agent. I try to impress them right then and there, because just because they don't mean what they say when they say that. Just like if a person walks into Nordstrom's, first thing you're going to hear is, hi, welcome to Nordstrom's. Can I help you? And they're going to hear that greeter is going to hear the same thing every time. No, I'm just looking. They're going to hear that every time. No, I'm just looking. Do they mean that? No. No one's just lurking when they walk into Nordstrom. If you dealt with getting your parking validated, parking in the mall, going through the elevator, getting all the way up into Nordstrom, you are truly a bored individual if you just went in there to browse around. That's not what happened. What happened is you're there looking for a brown belt or perfume or something. Underpants, scooters, whatever you're looking for. You're in there. I call underpants scooters. That's just I like that. So anyways, you walk into Nordstrom's, you're looking for it. Okay? But you lied and said you were just looking. It's a knee-jerk reaction. Don't sell to me. I want to move on. I know where I'm going. Even though we probably don't even know where we're going. We don't even know where that department is yet. We probably could have gotten some help from them about where are the scooters? Where's the brand belts? You know, like, I want to know. They probably could have started us off in the right direction. Like, go to that escalator and go up. Otherwise, you walk around that floor and, you know, but we don't. We just say, no, I'm just looking. Same deal. Oh, yeah, I'm working with an agent. Stay off me. Even though if they decide they like this house, or they want to buy a house, or they decide they like you, they might work with you. So don't give up yet. You're still fighting for that agent. If they tell you later that they've signed an exclusive buyer agency agreement, well, then so be it. The likelihood of that happening is slim to none. And you stop working with them. You don't pursue them. That's not cool. Got it? So, but up until that moment, odds are they happen. So the first thing I'd say is, hey man, you looking to buy? Are you looking to move soon? And if they say yes, we got a buyer, right? Say great. You know, then you just kind of keep asking questions at that point. And it's just tons of different questions, you know. Do you own a home currently? No, oh, no, there's a listing lead. Ooh, there's a listing lead. So now we can go give them a price on their home. This is awesome, right? If they don't, no, we're buying, we're renting. We just moved here and we're renting. We're looking to buy, whatever. We keep asking questions. How long you lived here? Where are you from? How'd you guys meet? Things like that. Have you met with a lender yet? All those types of conversations, okay? We call that LP Mama. LP Mama. Okay. Location. Where are you looking? Price. What's your price range? Mortgage. We ask about that. You qualified or not? You can ask if you're working with another agent. Motivation. How soon do you want to move? Why? Very important. Then lastly, we close to an appointment with them. Listing appointment or a buyer consultation. LP Mama. LPMAMA. We used to use that 30 years ago for floor time. Someone called in. You just keep asking questions. They're great at open houses too. Still works to this day. LP Mom. You've got your open house script. But then here's how you close that script. So are you looking at a lot of open houses? Yeah. And I'll say, okay. I'll tell you what, looking at open houses is probably not the best way to find a house. Less than 5% of houses that are sold are ever held as open houses. So you're seeing just the tip of the iceberg. If you want to see the whole iceberg that's underwater, the big part, I can give you full realtor access to our multiple listing service. And they're like, huh? And I'm just talking about sitting on a listing e-alert search in your MLS database. You can use your CRM, but you can just send it to them. And anytime a new listing hits the market that fits their criteria, you'll be emailed and you'll see it before agents do. Why? Just between you and me. I mean, between us, not in part of my script, is because agents don't look at every new listing that hits the market every day. So they'll actually know before most of the agents. They'll probably tell you, hey, I saw this new listing. I got the email today. Can we go see it? So you're going to get them at, I can tailor it. You can get it, you can get every listing if you want. You're going to get tons of emails. You probably won't like that. Or we can tailor it to your price range. And that way, if you see a house you want, or you at least want to look at, you could just say, hey, we can look at whenever you want. Just send me an email or just call me or text me and say, hey, can you get me into that one? I'll get you into it. You don't have to wait for a weekend. You can go see it first. See, the houses you're seeing that are open are oftentimes the ones nobody wanted. A lot of houses sell within like 3 hours. Those are usually the best priced ones in the best condition. If you're looking on Zillow and stuff, that's a secondary data feed. Those are also the homes nobody wanted. Because often, things take a day or two to get to Zillow. If you want to get full realtor access and see the houses that nobody can get, let me set you on a listing e-alert. The minute that listing goes live, you'll receive an email. And see, now what I'm doing is building follow-ups for my buyers. So all these buyers are coming to me. I just need your email address, your phone number, and your address. And now I've got, just grew my database, growing my SOI, and now I can follow up with them, provide customer service. Hey, did you see this one? This one kind of fits your criteria, or as I'm building rapport. Or are you getting too many emails? Do you want me to dial it down? I can easily reduce the search criteria so you don't get so many. Would you rather just receive them all weekly rather than instantly? I recommend sending them instantly though, because if you wait to get them all on Friday, a lot of them might be sold already by then. Do you want more? Are you not getting enough? I'll expand the search criteria, increase the price range, the geographic range of homes I'm sending them. Set that all up in MLS. So now I have a system for following up with people that actively want to buy or sell a home in the next 6 months to a year. And I start building a pipeline of buyers that way. And it's a much more efficient way to look at houses. And now I start doing work for them. I'm doing work for them. It's kind of hard if I send them some emails and send them up on a listing e-alert and call them about it and talk to them about a few of the listings, especially if I show them one. At that point in time, I should be able to get a buyer agency agreement signed, or if you're against those, my heart bleeds for you because you should not be against those. But I know a lot of people have a hard time getting anyone to do anything. That's what makes you not a professional, unfortunately. That's for a different day. But I'll tell you, they'd be an absolute jerk not to use you because you've done work for them. I'd be like, getting ready to take a listing and, getting the stager in there and the photographer in there. And, they still aren't willing to sign the listing. So you have your contractor come over and give them a contractor so they can pay them to do all the work. And then they list with somebody else. It just almost never happens when you've done that much work for them. I mean, it takes a true jerk to switch gears on you, or just a huge mistake of some part on your part, which almost shouldn't really happen in this industry either. So you do that much work for them already, they're going to end up using you. So it's a great way to convert and do lead follow-up with clients as well too. So again, those are your open house scripts from kind of start to finish right there. I mean, that's how to use them in listing agreements, how to get two held no matter the market, how to represent sellers when they come through, buyers when they come through. And make sure you do 2 a listing. That's the deal. 2 every single listing, every single time. And that way you use each listing, have a goal. I'm going to get 1 listing and 2 buyers out of every single listing I have. And now your business grows that way. And that's all from people you don't know. If you need to grow your database because you don't know enough people, you're going to be meeting all these people and setting them all up. This is how you grow it. It's a great way to meet new people and grow your sphere of influence database as well too. It's the best thing you can be doing as a new agent, on a team, a solo agent that's a new agent. Find someone you can hold open houses for. Find a way to grow your SOI database through this. Okay? All right?